For a generation raised on highlights, rankings, and debates built around dominance, Pau Gasol often exists as a footnote, a secondary name, a supporting character. And yet, without him, modern basketball does not look the way it does today. In the first 10 seconds of any conversation about the great centers of the 2000s, his name is usually missing, overshadowed by louder personalities, heavier bodies, and more aggressive narratives. Reduced unfairly to the idea of being Kobe Bryant's help. But that framing misses the point entirely, because Pau Gasol was never built to dominate through force. He was built to change the logic of the position. If you watch Nikola Jokic today manipulate defenses with patience and vision, if you see Domantas Sabonis operating as a hub rather than a finisher, if Karl Anthony Towns feels natural spacing the floor as a 7-footer, Gasol walked so they could run. Before we go any further, pause for a moment. If you value basketball stories that go beyond noise and reputation, stories about how the game actually evolves, this is where you belong. Stay with this documentary to the end. Pau Gasol did something subtle but revolutionary. He proved that size without intelligence was no longer enough, that the future of the center position was not just verticality and strength, but decision-making, touch, and restraint. And to understand how radical that was, we have to rewind. Pau Gasol was born on July 6, 1980, in Barcelona, Spain. His upbringing was calm, structured, almost academic. Both of his parents were tall and involved in sports at an amateur level. His mother, Marisa, was a physician. His father, Agustin, a nurse. Education was not optional in the Gasol household. It was foundational. As a child, Pau was reserved, thoughtful, more inclined toward books than bravado. He loved soccer, like most Spanish kids, but basketball slowly carved its place in his life. And unlike most future NBA players, his early dreams had nothing to do with fame. At just 11 years old, Pau Gasol watched Magic Johnson announce his retirement after revealing he was HIV positive. The moment left a permanent mark. Inspired by the idea of healing rather than competing, Pau seriously considered becoming a doctor. He studied science. He excelled academically. Medicine was not a fantasy, it was a plan. Basketball at first was simply another discipline. He joined FC Barcelona's youth system, standing barely 1.80 meters tall. No overwhelming athleticism, no explosive power. What separated him even then was his understanding of space and timing, instincts that cannot be taught. Within 2 years, his body caught up to his mind. By 1999, at just 18 years old, Pau Gasol made his debut for Barcelona's senior team, and what followed was not gradual development, it was acceleration. He became a champion in Spain's top league. He earned Finals MVP honors. He won the Copa del Rey. But more importantly, he did it without chasing attention. Gasol played a brand of basketball that prioritized the correct decision over the spectacular one. His footwork was precise, his passing deliberate. For a player standing over 7 feet tall, he moved with patience instead of urgency. This was European basketball at its most refined, and by 2001, there was no reason left to stay. The NBA draft that year was heavy with American big men, stronger, louder, more physically imposing. But Gasol entered the process as something unfamiliar to most teams, a center who thought the game faster than his opponents could react. He wasn't selected because of power, he was selected because of understanding. Chosen 3rd overall and immediately traded to a franchise still searching for relevance, Pau Gasol arrived in a city undergoing its own transformation. The Vancouver Grizzlies became the Memphis Grizzlies the same year he entered the league. A new city, a fragile identity, no history to lean on. And yet, from his very first NBA season, Gasol didn't play like a rookie. He started every game, averaged nearly 18 points and 9 rebounds, protected the rim, moved the ball. In a league that expected European bigs to struggle with physicality, Gasol looked composed. His footwork neutralized stronger defenders. His touch around the rim dismantled aggression. He became the first foreign-born player to win Rookie of the Year, not because he was flashy, but because he was reliable. If you're still watching at this point, you already understand something important. This story isn't about volume, it's about influence. And what comes next is where Gasol's true impact begins to take shape. Memphis was not a destination, it was a test. And Pau Gasol passed it quietly while carrying an entire franchise on his shoulders. Before we move deeper into that transformation, take a second to reflect. How many players reshape a position without ever demanding the spotlight? That question sits at the center of Gasol's legacy. When Pau Gasol arrived in Memphis, the franchise itself was still learning how to exist. The Grizzlies were new to the city, disconnected from a fan base that hadn't chosen them yet. There were no traditions, no playoff memories, no stars to sell hope. Memphis wasn't a destination, it was a question mark. And into that uncertainty stepped a 21-year-old center from Spain, soft-spoken, analytical, and completely uninterested in becoming a spectacle. Gasol didn't demand attention, he absorbed responsibility. From his second season onward, it became obvious Memphis didn't just have a promising player, they had their identity. Gasol was the offense, the release valve, the defensive anchor, and the stabilizer in late-game situations. In an era defined by slow pace and bruising interior play, this was unusual. Between 2002 and 2007, Gasol averaged roughly 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. Those numbers, while respectable, don't fully capture what he represented. He was the rare big man who could read the floor one step ahead of the defense. Against the giants of that era, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Shaquille O'Neal, Dwight Howard, Gasol didn't try to overpower. He disrupted rhythm. He forced smarter defenders into hesitation. He punished impatience with footwork and timing. He was not built for dominance. He was built for survival in hostile matchups. Memphis slowly followed his lead. By the 2003-2004 season, Memphis finally surrounded Gasol with functional pieces. Mike Miller added shooting. James Posey brought defensive toughness. Jason Williams, unpredictable, creative, volatile, gave the team a pulse. For the first time, Memphis felt alive. They won 50 games, a franchise record. They made the playoffs for the first time in team history. The reward? A first-round matchup against the San Antonio Spurs, a dynasty in motion, defined by discipline, structure, and Tim Duncan at his peak. The series ended quickly, a sweep. But within that loss, something important happened. Gasol didn't disappear. In games 3 and 4, he led Memphis in scoring. He averaged over 18 points on elite efficiency. Against one of the greatest defensive systems ever built, Gasol looked comfortable. The league noticed. What followed were 3 straight playoff appearances and 3 early exits. On paper, it looked like stagnation. In reality, it was exposure. In 2005, Memphis faced the Phoenix Suns, led by Nash and powered by speed. Amari Stoudemire was at the height of his athletic dominance. Gasol responded with nearly 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists, producing one of the most skilled big man performances of the series. It didn't matter. Phoenix swept them. In 2006, it was Dallas, Dirk Nowitzki, another European, redefining the position, but with a system fully built around him. Dallas was deeper, more balanced, more experienced. Gasol still delivered. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists per game. Another sweep. And that's when the questions hardened. Was Pau Gasol simply a talented player putting up numbers on a bad team? Could his style actually translate to winning at the highest level? Or was Memphis limiting him by never pairing him with a true co-star? These were not unfair questions, By the 2006-2007 season, Gasol had reached the peak of his individual powers. Despite missing games due to injury, he averaged over 20 points and nearly 10 rebounds. His defense improved. His rim protection became more consistent. But Memphis collapsed. Coaching instability, roster decay, a directionless rebuild. The Memphis Grizzlies won just 22 games. It became impossible to ignore. This partnership had reached its ceiling. Gasol was too good to anchor a rebuild. Memphis was too broken to support a star. The league had seen this pattern before. Elite talent stranded in small markets, quietly excellent, slowly erased from national conversations. And yet, what made Gasol different was how little he complained. No public pressure, no trade demands, no manufactured drama. He played.
Los Angeles does not wait for players to adjust. It evaluates immediately. It judges publicly. And it remembers failures far longer than it celebrates patience. When Pau Gasol arrived at the Lakers in February of 2008, the context was volatile. Kobe Bryant was playing some of the most aggressive basketball of his career, brilliant, relentless, and visibly isolated. The roster around him lacked trust, cohesion, and credibility. The Lakers weren't missing talent, they were missing structure. Gasol provided that structure instantly. From his very first games, the effect was unmistakable. The offense slowed down, not in pace, but in panic. The ball moved with intention, spacing improved, reads became simpler. Kobe no longer had to force advantages every possession. Los Angeles finished the regular season 27-9 after the trade. Not a coincidence, not a honeymoon, a recalibration. Under Phil Jackson's triangle offense, Gasol's skill set became amplified. His passing from the high post unlocked cutters. His footwork punished switches. His patience allowed the system to breathe. He wasn't just fitting in, he was completing the design. The playoffs arrived quickly, and with them, scrutiny. In his first postseason game as a Laker against Denver, Gasol delivered 36 points and 16 rebounds. It wasn't dominance through force, it was composure. He dictated tempo, absorbed contact, and scored without urgency. Los Angeles swept the series. They handled Utah. They dismantled San Antonio. The Lakers were back in the NBA Finals for the first time since 2004, and suddenly, Pau Gasol was no longer invisible. But the finals are not forgiving. Boston waited. Kevin Garnett, Kendrick Perkins, an elite defensive identity designed to test resolve. Gasol struggled, not statistically, but narratively. He averaged respectable numbers, yet the physicality overwhelmed him. Boston controlled the paint. The Lakers lost the series in 6 games, and within days, the label appeared. Soft. It's a word that sticks to players unfairly, especially those who don't perform aggression theatrically. Gasol didn't protest. He didn't defend himself publicly. He internalized it. If you're still watching at this point, this is where Gasol's story pivots, because what followed was not collapse, it was recalibration. That summer, Gasol changed his body, added strength, improved balance, focused on absorbing contact without losing touch. He didn't abandon who he was, he fortified it. The 2008-2009 season became a quiet masterclass. Gasol averaged 19 points and 10 rebounds on elite efficiency. The team won 65 games, best in the league. The offense was surgical. Kobe trusted him. The triangle functioned as intended. And in the playoffs, Gasol didn't fade. Utah fell quickly. Houston resisted, forcing 7 games. Denver was dismissed. The NBA Finals returned, this time against Orlando. Dwight Howard was at his peak, explosive, physically overwhelming, the prototype of what many believed a modern center should be. Gasol didn't try to overpower him, he outthought him, drawing offensive fouls, forcing awkward angles, neutralizing momentum. Game 2 was the moment. 24 points, 10 rebounds, control. In Game 5, the closeout, Gasol recorded 14 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Los Angeles won the title. Gasol had proven something quietly important. You don't need to dominate physically to win championships. You need to stabilize chaos. If this kind of analysis is what you're here for, stories that explain why titles are won, not just who lifts the trophy, make sure you stay with this series. What comes next reframes everything about Gasol's legacy. But the story wasn't finished. In 2010, the Lakers returned stronger, hardened, focused. Gasol averaged over 18 points and 11 rebounds. The team navigated a brutal Western Conference. Oklahoma City pushed them. Utah collapsed quickly. Phoenix tested their endurance. And once again, Boston waited. This time, the narrative flipped. The finals went 7 games. Every possession carried weight. Kobe struggled with efficiency. The game slowed to survival basketball. Game 7 became Gasol's defining performance. 19 points, 18 rebounds, 9 offensive boards. The Lakers won 83-79. Those extra possessions, those second chances, decided the championship. Gasol didn't just contribute, he anchored the outcome. Years later, Kobe Bryant would admit publicly, Gasol was essential. That confession matters, because legacies are often written by the loudest voices, and Gasol never raised his. Before we move beyond Los Angeles and into the final phase of his career, pause here. If you value understanding how players shape championships beyond scoring titles and highlight reels, you're exactly where you should be. Championships tend to freeze players in time. They define how they are remembered, but they also trap expectations. For Pau Gasol, the 2 titles in Los Angeles became both validation and limitation. To many, his story was complete. The arc had closed. The league, however, was moving. After 2010, the NBA entered a quiet but decisive transformation. Pace increased. Spacing became non-negotiable. 3-point shooting spread across every position. The idea of a traditional back-to-the-basket center began to erode. Ironically, this was the environment Gasol had been preparing for his entire career. But timing matters. The Lakers, aging and strained, struggled to adapt. Despite winning 57 games in 2011, their playoff run ended abruptly at the hands of Dallas, a team built around spacing, patience, and a European big who had been allowed to become himself. Dirk Nowitzki didn't just beat Los Angeles, he symbolized the future. Soon after that, everything fractured. Phil Jackson retired. Kobe's body began to fail. Roster experiments replaced continuity. The arrival of Dwight Howard and Nash was supposed to extend the window. Instead, it destabilized it. Mike D'Antoni's system removed no farewell tour, no manufactured closure. At 34, he signed with the Chicago Bulls, a move met with skepticism. Many assumed this was a financial decision. In Chicago, he became productive without dominance, efficient without centrality. Alongside Jimmy Butler and a recovering Derrick Rose, Gasol averaged over 18 points, nearly 11 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. He returned to the All-Star game. He recorded career-high performances, 9 blocks in one game, 46 points and 18 rebounds in another. At an age when most big men decline, Gasol adapted. He stretched the floor, protected the rim through positioning, created offense through intelligence. The Bulls won 50 games, but time is undefeated. After Chicago, Gasol joined the San Antonio Spurs, not as a centerpiece, but as a veteran presence. Tim Duncan had retired. Kawhi Leonard had become the focal point.
LaMarcus Aldridge occupied the interior role. Gasol adjusted again. His minutes decreased, his usage softened, his influence became quieter. The Spurs remained competitive, but the era was ending. Injuries accumulated, foot issues resurfaced. By 2019, it was clear his NBA career was reaching its conclusion. He returned home. In 2021, Pau Gasol played his final professional games with FC Barcelona, the same club where his journey began. 20 years after his first championship there, he won another, a symbolic ending. Not loud, not theatrical, appropriate. But Gasol's career cannot be measured solely by NBA chapters. With the Spanish national team, his legacy expanded beyond leagues and franchises. He was the constant force behind one of the greatest international generations ever assembled. World champion. By the time he retired officially in 2021, Gasol had become the leading scorer in Eurobasket, a record built not on bursts, but on endurance. In 20 because Pau
Legacy is rarely decided in real time. It's measured slowly, corrected years later, when noise fades and influence becomes clear. Pau Gasol's career exists precisely in that space. Not misunderstood because of failure, but underestimated because of subtlety. He was never the loudest voice on the floor, never the centerpiece of a marketing campaign, never the player demanding the ball to validate himself. Yet today's NBA centers increasingly resemble him. Gasol didn't redefine the position by breaking it apart. He expanded it. He proved that a 7-footer could be a connector rather than just a finisher, a reader of space rather than a weapon of brute force. In the early 2000s, big men who could pass, space the floor, defend intelligently, and thrive in switching defenses were considered a luxury, sometimes a liability. Gasol normalized it. His influence is not in imitation, but in permission. He allowed the league to evolve beyond stereotypes. Comparisons to Kobe Bryant often miss the point. Gasol was never meant to mirror Kobe's intensity or mythology. He complemented it. Where Kobe compressed defenses, Gasol released pressure. Where Kobe attacked chaos, Gasol organized it. Championship teams require both. When the Lakers needed control, Gasol provided it. In finals slowed to survival basketball, he secured possessions. When critics questioned his toughness, he answered with performance, not posturing. The 2010 Game 7 remains emblematic. No theatrics, just 18 rebounds, 9 offensive, in a game decided by 4 points. That's endurance, not softness. Gasol's international career reinforced his impact. Spain's rise was built on his consistency, leadership, and adaptability. Generations passed through that system, and Gasol remained the axis, structuring Spanish basketball, not just representing it. Off the court, his legacy aged gracefully. He invested in education, health, and philanthropy. He stayed close to teammates and carried responsibility quietly. After tragedy, he chose presence over publicity. Greatness isn't just measured when cameras are on, it's tested when no one is watching. In 2023, when the Lakers retired his number, the message was clear. Gasol's place was alongside the legends. If he entered the league today, in a game built around spacing, decision-making, and versatility, his value would likely be even higher. Gasol didn't benefit from the modern NBA. The modern NBA benefited from him. Pau Gasol's quiet revolution continues in every center who thinks the game before overpowering it. His legacy is subtle, profound, and still unfolding.